In 2021, an office worker named Mark Hensley started noticing something strange about his building's elevator. Every single night at exactly 11:07 p.m., it would stop on a floor that wasn't supposed to be there. The elevator panel would flash 7, but the building only has 6 floors. Mark worked late a lot, usually alone in the quiet hum of the office. One night, as he hit the button for the lobby, the elevator doors closed, but the cab didn't move. The panel flickered, the lights dimmed, and then a soft ding. The number 7 was illuminated in a pale blue light. Confused, Mark pressed the lobby button again, then again. Nothing changed. The next morning, he mentioned it to the building's security guard. The guard just laughed it off. There is no 7th floor, must be a system glitch. But Mark saw the look in his eyes. He seemed nervous, way too nervous for a simple glitch. Curiosity got the better of him. The next night, Mark decided to film it. He got his phone ready. 11:07 p.m. Right on schedule, the elevator came to a halt. Ding. Floor 7. This time, the doors slid open. But instead of another office hallway, he saw something impossible. A long, narrow corridor lined with old, peeling wallpaper. Dim yellow lights cast long shadows. The carpet was a faded red, patterned with forgotten flowers like a hotel from the 1970s. Mark called out, "Hello?" His voice echoed down the hall like he'd shouted into a tunnel. He was too afraid to step out. A moment later, the doors slowly closed. The next day at work, Mark couldn't stop thinking about it. He casually asked a few co-workers if they'd ever seen the elevator open onto an empty, old-fashioned level. Most of them just looked at him like he was crazy. But one woman, Sarah, paused. She leaned in and whispered, "I got off on that floor once, years ago. Don't ever step inside that hallway." Before he could ask her what she meant, she turned and walked away, visibly shaken. That night, Mark told himself he'd just filmed the hallway again, just get a better look. He hit record. The doors opened on floor 7, but this time, someone was there, a silhouette standing motionless at the far end of the hallway. The doors seemed to react, snapping shut much faster than before. Mark had to know what was happening. He needed answers. The next night at 11:07, he entered the elevator and waited. Ding, 7. The doors opened. The hallway was empty again. Taking a deep breath, Mark stepped out. The instant his foot touched the worn carpet, the elevator doors slammed shut behind him. The lights flickered, and the air grew thick with the smell of dust and old perfume. He started walking, every step making a soft, crunching sound. Far down the hall, a single door was slightly ajar. Room 717. A warm yellow light leaked from the crack. Mark whispered, "Is anyone here?" In response, he heard something move behind the door. A slow, soft shuffle. His heart pounded as he approached the door. His hand barely brushed the cold doorknob and it swung open on its own. The room inside was empty, except for an old armchair facing a curtained window. The curtains fluttered slightly, even though the window was sealed shut. Mark took one timid step into the room, and then he heard it, behind him. The sound of someone else taking a step, mimicking his own. He spun around. No one was there. He raised his phone, the camera still recording. The screen showed something his eyes couldn't see. A tall, gray, blurry figure standing in the corner of the room. It looked like it wasn't quite fully there. He lowered his phone. The corner was empty. He raised it again. The figure was closer, and this time its head was slowly turning toward him. He dropped his phone and scrambled out of the room. He ran. He sprinted down the hallway as the lights flickered violently overhead. The elevator doors slid open on their own as if offering an escape. He lunged inside. The moment he was safe, all the lights in the hallway shut off at once, plunging it into pitch blackness. The elevator doors slammed shut and began to descend. He watched the panel. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then it stopped on B basement. Mark had never pressed that button. The doors opened to the dark, cold basement. It was silent. His phone, which he'd left on the floor of room 717, suddenly dinged in his pocket. It had saved a new file. He opened it. It was the footage from the room right after he'd dropped it. The camera was pointed up at the figure as it leaned over his phone and whispered something. Mark turned up the volume. A distorted, raspy voice filled the silence. "You shouldn't have come here." The camera cut to black. Mark quit his job the next morning and never looked back. But they say that every night since, the building's elevator still stops at floor 7, even though no one is inside.